Yo, what's up? We're back at it again with another video. Improving the quality of the content every day in and day out. That's the way that it goes. As you can see, I am feeling a lot better. I'm feeling a lot better because I went for a workout today, and even though I wanted to rest this weekend, I feel like yesterday was kind of like a breakthrough. Like I said, talking about what's making me feel blue usually helps me realize that it's not that big of a deal. There are some things that I need to work on, but we'll focus on that every single day in and day out, right here, right now, baby. But anyway, today I wanted to talk about a very important topic, and I think that it's something that's been dragging us back, or yeah, keeping us back as a society. And it's basically the connotation that sex means love, or that love means sex. And it's a very old belief, like, and I don't mean that in like ancient or like um yeah, backwards thinking. I mean that as actually old, like it's something that's been pushed on us for a very long time, and it starts way back during the Christian boom, like right after God died, or like Jesus died. If you might not believe that that's God, that's fine. I don't care. I do believe that Jesus and God were like one thing, and I do believe in the Bible's God. I'm not very religious in the typical way, but I do believe in that God, the God of the Bible, of the Christian Bible, right? King James version. But again, I am not your stereotypical Christian, and I do not conform to Christian standards because I believe they're very flawed. But we're not here to talk about that today. We're just here to talk about why do we as a society keep thinking that sex means love. And I think that this comes again from the Christian beliefs and religious beliefs mostly. But I think that there are very good arguments against this belief because at the end of the day, like, sex does not mean love. I think that we've all had sex with someone that we didn't love, and sure, it might have been better or worse for some of y'all, but at the end of the day, like, that's a clear sign that like sex does not mean love, and also sex does not imply anything else than sex. And I'll make my point. Basically, like, um, my stepdad, for example, like, um, cheated on my mom when I was a kid, right? And like at the time, I was very angry about it, obviously, because as a kid, you don't really understand how adult relationships work. And like, it tore down our family. Like, they ended up divorcing, thankfully, because it turns out that he didn't cheat. Because I don't think that he was a shitty person because he cheated on my mom. He was just a shitty person towards the family after that. So like, it was nice that at least we got it done with as soon as possible. Um, but yeah, I was very mad at him for that for a long time until like I was maybe like 17, and I realized that like I realized some other things happened in my life around that time where I was like, like, cheating's not an evil thing, and it's not something that it's not something that necessarily makes you evil. I think it's one of the most universal experiences. Even if you haven't cheated yourself, I feel like most people in the world have either cheated or been cheated on. And I think that we give it a lot of importance, and I feel like it's not necessarily that important. Now, why do I say that? You might be like, oh, well, you might be polyamorous, or like a free spirit, or a fucking hippie with that hair and that beard. Um, but I'm not. I'm actually very, not like far right, but like I'm a right leaning I am right leaning politically speaking. And like, I do believe in some conservative values, but mainly it's economics. But I'm diverging from the point. The thing here is, let's be like, logical. So basically, let's say that like I have a partner, right? And I love that partner, but like one time I go to a bar and there's this like really hot person who's come hitting on me, and like I'm in a relationship, so I don't really give it a lot of attention. But eventually, like whatever happens, and I end up cheating on my partner. Let's say that happened. How does that affect my relationship with my partner at that point? Now, I want to make something very clear. I'm not saying cheating's okay. I'm not saying cheating's right. I'm just saying that it's not that important in the context of our relationship, at least not in my opinion. And I'm here to plead my case. Why is it not that important again? Because if you take a closer look at your relationship, as long as that person didn't cheat on you in order to terminate the relationship, then I believe that, like, as long as you don't find out, there's no victims in this situation. Like, I'm not against lying, but I do think that honesty is overrated, especially when being honest is not the optimal thing to do, right? For example, like, again, under the hypothetical scenario that I cheated on my partner, there's two options. Either I wanted to break up with her and I cheated because I'm a pussy, but we already took that one out. Or I didn't want to break up with her and it was a moment of weakness, a series of mistakes, because cheating is never just one mistake. It's like a bunch of mistakes in a row. So like not, like it doesn't make it worse or better, but let's be honest, it's not one mistake. One mistake would be to kiss and then pull away. That's one mistake. But like if you kissed and then you pull away, but then you went back and whatever, like that's a series of mistakes in a row. So let's also get that out of the way. Cheating's not like, oh, I made a mistake. It's like, I've made a bunch of mistakes. Now, it doesn't make you evil. And when you take that closer look, you'll see that, like, if I didn't want to break up with you, if it was just a moment of weakness, what are my options? I can either tell you and risk losing you as my partner, as my person, as the person that I want to spend my time and my life with. At this point, maybe you're not married, but like even then, like having a relationship implies that you enjoy spending time with that person, that you value that person as more than just a sexual companion. And I think that makes a lot of the difference. Like when I talk about cheating in this context, I mean this type of cheating, like physical cheating, because I also believe there's emotional cheating. Like maybe that person never actually fucked someone else, or maybe never actually had like any sort of like sexual or physical exchange with anyone else, but maybe they were cheating on you emotionally. And for that I don't have an answer. Like I think that in my opinion that's a way worse thing to do, just because it implies that you have an emotional connection to someone else, and someone else is helping you deal with your problems and with your life, and you're sharing your life with someone else besides me. And I think that is a much bigger problem within a relationship. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about physical cheating, right? Like the actual act of having sex with someone else, because that's what this video is about the fact that sex does not equal love. Hence, infidelity does not mean anything other than I was perhaps horny for someone else. And that's the thing, that like if I didn't want to break up with you, if I love you and I'm sure of that, and it was just a moment of weakness, the only rational thing to do is to not tell you. Because that way it's as if it never happened. Think about it, like if I don't tell you, that way it's as if it never happened. Let's say, especially if I was very careful and I did it with someone that there's no way that you would find out. Like, it doesn't really hurt you. You're not gonna lose trust in me. You're not gonna feel like, you're not gonna feel cheated on. You're not gonna feel like you're not enough. You're not gonna go through all of these insecurities and self-doubt, because you would never find out. If I tell you, you're gonna go through all of these things and you're gonna feel very bad about yourself, about the relationship, because, as humans, we're inherently jealous. We're inherently emotional. So if I tell you, not only do the chances of you terminating the relationship with me increase, but I'm also gonna put you through a lot of unnecessary suffering, because at the end of the day, like, I don't gain anything by telling you, and you don't gain anything by knowing. But now we're not here to analyze the moral part of this. It's more about like what do you get by telling someone that you cheated on? And like at the end of the day, you get nothing, and that person gets nothing. Like people say they want to know, but they don't really want to know. And first of all, we gotta be honest with ourselves in a relationship and understand that like romantic relationships are not only the most fragile type of relationship that there is, because it's basically just a daily decision to be committed to that person, and you're putting a lot of faith and a lot of trust and responsibility on that person to be faithful to you, to take care of you, to be there for you when you need it. But that's also, in my opinion, the exact reason why romantic relationships are in such a downturn right now in society. It's because at the end of the day, like, we don't ask that much out of anyone else. We don't ask that much from any other relationship that we might have. Because like think about all of the other relationships in your life, and you'll realize very quickly that that's not how they work. Like I don't only have one friend. Like you might only have one friend, but that might be for a whole different reason than the fact that like it's bad to have more than one friend. You know, like you have different friends because each of them bring different things into your life. And this is not a pro open relationship or like polyamorous relationship video. It's more about the fact that like it's unfair to ask your partner to not only be your physical confidant, but your emotional confidant, your best friend, someone who takes care of you, someone who you share your life with, someone who listens to you all the time and shares your problems. Like that's a lot of responsibility, and I think that that's kind of unfair to expect so much from your partner, and to also expect them to meet every single requirement that you might have in your life, because that's not how relationships work. You don't expect your mom to do all of those things. You don't expect your siblings to do all of those things. You don't even expect your friends to do all of those things. You expect your friends to do some of those things, and some of your friends do very specific things for you that you're like, that's why we're friends, and like that's what I get from this relationship. In romantic relationships, there's a lot of pressure because there's a lot of things that you expect or that we expect from our romantic partners. And by saying that, what I mean is just because I really like sushi doesn't mean that I want to eat sushi every day. And maybe sushi is not the best example because it implies something fishy. Let's say just because I really like pepperoni pizza doesn't mean I want to have pepperoni pizza every day. Like I might be excited to have pepperoni pizza most days, but like every once in a while I might want a fucking salad, you know? And that's fine. And that's what I'm trying to say with this video, is that just because you love someone doesn't mean that you're not going to be attracted to other people sometimes. And I think that we can all agree on that. I feel like everyone who's been in a relationship has also been attracted to someone who wasn't their boyfriend or girlfriend at some point in that relationship. So with that established, let's move on to the next step. And I think the next step is recognizing that let's not pretend that we are going to be the victim of a cheating. Let's pretend that we're going to be the ones who do it, right? Let's say you did it. Again, nothing would change unless you told your partner, or unless you were very uncaring and very clumsy doing it, you know, where you would like be caught doing it. But that also implies a lack of respect and a lack of understanding and like compassion for your partner. So that would also be your fault, and that would also lead to like a very messy and painful situation for both of you. So again, if you were to do that and you were able to hold it and understand that it's not something that you're going to do every day, it's not something that you're going to do every weekend, it's not something that you're even thinking, it's not something that you're even thinking about doing later on. Maybe it was just a one-time thing. But adult relationships are complicated, and like that's something that no one prepares us for, because no one really gives you access to that when you're a kid or a teenager. You have to kind of like learn as you go, and learn as you date, and learn as you fall in love, and understand what works and what doesn't work for you. But I used to be a very jealous person, and not only was I very jealous, which I am still jealous, but not in like a toxic way, but like in a normal way. I'm also possessive in a healthy way. Like, I don't mean that you cannot have any friends or anything, it's just more like you're my girlfriend, I don't want anyone else to have you, you know? But at the same time, I understand that my girlfriend's a human, or that my hypothetical girlfriend's a human, and that she might sometimes be attracted to someone else, or might make a mistake, or might, yeah, make a mistake. I feel like that's the right word. Like it's not that you think that the cheating was a mistake, because it might not feel like that. It might be like, oh, like this helped me get it out of the way, and like now I feel better. But you understand that like a mistake in a sense that like I am planned for this to happen like this, or I am planned for this to happen at all. Like it was something that was in my mind and it happened. Or even if you planned it, like perhaps it was just because you really felt like that was what you needed at that time. What I'm trying to say here is like, let's stop pretending that love and sex are the same thing, because they're not. And I think that if we understand that, we might be able to build even stronger relationships that understand that we're human and that we sometimes have needs and have like deficiencies in some aspects of our lives, or we have like desires that we want to have that maybe we don't feel comfortable sharing with our partner because we don't think of them in that way. Like there's a lot of things and a lot of nuances to adult relationships. So I believe the best way to like deal with these things is to just be honest and to understand that you're a person and that people make mistakes, communicate effectively, and be compassionate. Understand what led the other person to do that in the case that you were to find out. But again, my personal advice is for you to just keep it within you. Just because like if you speak out on it, no one gets anything. Like I know personally that if my partner cheated on me, and I know that like because I've had disagreement in the past, I wouldn't want to know. As long as it didn't mean anything, as long as it's not like you were in love with that person or you want to leave me or anything like that. If it's just a clumsy mistake or like a thing of the moment, I wouldn't want to know, because I love you and I'm fine. Like sex is not what I value most about you. It's your personality. It's who you are as a person. And because I understand how I am, I'm also able to understand how you are, because humans are not that different from each other. So anyway, I hope that this made sense to you. I think it makes sense to me. It's something that I'm really like, I don't think passionate's the right word, but like it's something that I really believe in, because sex shouldn't mean love, and we all know that sex doesn't mean love in most contexts. So I think that like forgiving a physical infidelity would be one of the easiest things to do if you can look at it rationally. But even then, why would you need to know? Like, what's the point? What do you get? Have a great night. It was nice talking to you. Hopefully this reaches someone, and we'll talk tomorrow.